Welcome to the I Am One podcast. On today's episode, we're sitting down with SHATIERA, AMANKRAH, a perinatal mental health certified licensed clinical social worker who is connected to PSI in so many ways, and who brings both clinical expertise and her own lived experience with infertility to this conversation. We'll chat about isolation and depression, unexplained infertility, male factor infertility, why perinatal mental health care needs to start long before the positive test, and the power of boundaries, self-love, and community support, among other topics. Grab a pen and paper or open a note in your phone because SHATIERA came ready to share some resources. So without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode with our friend SHATIERA. SHATIERA, welcome to the podcast studio. I am so excited to finally actually be welcoming you. All of the stars have aligned. We have been attempting to schedule this recording and had to reschedule several times.
We're busy. What are you going to do?
Life is life.
We're all busy. The plague has hit children and adults at various times over the last, I think it's 5 or 6 months that we've kind of been going back and forth.
I'm sick. You're sick.
We're all sick.
It's all good.
Thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm excited to join you guys.
Emily, you want to jump right in?
Why, yes. Can you introduce yourself to everyone? What's critical for them to know? Name, pronouns, favorite pizza topping. What do you do professionally? Can you juggle? What do we need to know?
I mean, just the basics.
All right. So my name is SHATIERA AMANKRAH. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I am perinatal mental health certified. I'm going to have a specialty in infertility. I have my own personal lived experience in infertility. I have 2 IVF babies. My firstborn just turned 10 on the 6th. So
Double digits.
Whoa.
yeah, she's officially double digits, and I've been in this parenthood life for double digit now, a decade, as she likes to say. My first decade of life, mommy. Yeah, and then my youngest is 7.5 now.
Wow.
And then I'm done. So there will be no more added.
That's a healthy boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just one fun fact is I'm a twin.
Oh. Oh my gosh. I wonder how many twins. Okay, you're a twin. Kara Kushner is a previous guest. She has a twin. Identical?
Fraternal.
Okay.
It's a boy, my brother. We look nothing alike, but
Oh.
we are twins, in fact.
Are you oldest or youngest?
I'm the baby sister
Oh.
by 6 minutes. 6.
That makes a difference.
It doesn't.
He's like, oh, my baby sister. I'm like, really, sir? Yeah, so he's older by 6 minutes.
That's cute. We'll let him have it.
Okay, let's pause the episode here for a second. I'm kidding. No, we should always ask us to just give us some little interesting fact. That's not on the list of questions, and I love that we know it, you know?
Well, I don't juggle, so I figured.
Oh, it's okay. Shoot, I don't juggle. I've got to deliver something else super cool. I'm a twin. No big deal. Awesome.
And it's so interesting because in the fertility space, I've heard many parents who conceive twins via fertility treatments have shared frustration with constantly being asked if their twins were through natural conception or treatment. So that's been an interesting topic that I've watched happen. And thought about well, I'm a twin. And if I had twins because of IVF, nobody would probably question it because twins run very heavy in my family. In fact, I learned about a cousin who has twins and had twins via IVF. And I did not know that they went through IVF until years and years later.
Oh.
And I never questioned it because we have a gajillion sets of twins in my family.
So it just wasn't a topic that was discussed.
Mm-mm.
That's interesting. And also the choice of that people often choose to use the word natural because the opposite of that is unnatural. What does that mean?
Yeah. So one of the posts that I read recently was someone venting their frustration, and they were saying the word you're looking for is spontaneous, or these twins conceived spontaneously because all babies are natural.
Oh, that's great.
Or no baby is natural, depending on what kind of attitude it's throwing at you on any given day.
I like that.
For real. Okay, sorry, I digress.
We've derailed. That was a great intro, full of like lots of interesting facts and little tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was curious. Could you tell us what role perinatal mental health complications have played in your life? It sounds like we already know a little bit that it's played a role personally and professionally. However, you'd like to kind of tell us about
Your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. When I started trying to conceive, I never, of course, imagined I'd deal with infertility, never even knew and understood what all that was. But through the process and through going through it after some years, not after years, but through going through it for some years, in the midst of that, I began dealing with depression, anxiety. At the time, I was very isolated.
Mm.
When I had first gotten married, my husband was like, this is between us. We don't need to talk to other people about it. He didn't even want me sharing like with my parents, my brother, nobody.
Mm.
So I felt very isolated. And then, of course, he's not interested in talking about it either.
Like, how's that going for us?
Like, hello here. I'm drowning here.
Were you already a therapist?
No, I think I was going into grad school. Like, nope, it was in the middle because I got married. I think I did a 3-year program and I got married in, I think, year 1. And so it was in the middle of it. Because I remember one of the things that I was able to use as a mask was I'm in grad school. So I'm not having babies. Whenever people would be like, oh, are you having babies? Even though I'm desperately trying and they don't know that, I'm like, oh, I'm in grad school. So, I'm just going to wait until after grad school to focus on that kind of thing. And so I was not a therapist. I was working in case management in a transitional housing program at the time.
Oh, interesting.
And then I started grad school and then I started doing mental health internship with serious mental illness.
Any particular reason?
Of serious mental illness?
Yeah, like that you chose to do an internship kind of in that area.
Yeah, just because I felt like it's probably going to sound interesting, but I felt like my first year internship was a wash. Like I didn't feel like I gained anything from it because it was an organization. It was my first internship year and the organization was going through a lot of changes. I wasn't really supervised. I didn't carry a real caseload. I didn't really get experience and exposure. And for me personally, I was like, at some point I'm going to get this master's degree and I kind of need to know like real life what's going on and have real experience.
Yeah,
totally.
I proactively sought out my second year internship and just was looking for one that I could get real experience doing real therapy with serious, like mental health.
Cool.
And through that, I realized that that was not where I wanted to do long term, but it was a great experience. So yes, I started when I was in the midst of my program. And to circle back to the question, so I dealt with the depression and the anxiety. And then with my husband, I kind of shared with him like, hey, I'm really, struggling with this. I had tried to find a therapist. I met with a couple of different therapists and just felt like none of them could really relate. First of all, it was really hard to even find a Black therapist. Did not find one. So I went with a couple of other different therapists and then trying to find someone who understood infertility was like not helpful. I did not find anyone and I spent a lot of sessions trying to explain and educate the therapist on infertility stuff. And
let me educate you so then you can help me. So, oh man.
So I stopped going to therapy and then I just told my husband like this isn't working for me. And then he was kind of then supportive at that point. Like, you know what, I understand. I don't want this to be out there, but I understand your need. And so, you can talk to some people. So that's when I started sharing with my immediate kind of loved ones.
Yeah.
Then after that, once I did get pregnant, I thought, I've been working so hard for this pregnancy that I'm just going to be super excited. I can't wait to get there. And then when I got there, I dealt with a lot of morning sickness. I dealt with my employer who was super not supportive. And forcefully trying to make me take leave that I didn't, that wasn't appropriate and just wasn't supportive. And I was really sick physically. And so then I started thinking like the stress and everything that I was dealing with, I felt like, oh my gosh, like SHATIERA, you can't be upset about this pregnancy. Like you can't complain because you did so much to get here. How dare you, not enjoy it fully. So I started feeling with like guilt.
That internal dialogue. Ooh.
Yes, it was tough.
Yeah.
And then my decade-old baby had the nerve to have colic.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, this is torture.
That baby read the risk factor list and was like, cool. Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was born in January, so it was wintertime, and so I was even more isolated. I was very hesitant to have other people around. So I dealt with a lot of depression even in postpartum, a lot of intrusive thoughts. And
Oh.
again, at that time, like I didn't know anything about perinatal mental health. I just knew how I was feeling. And then of course later on I learned more about it and realized like, oh yeah, this is what I was dealing with. The anxiety, the intrusive thoughts, the worry, the fear, the sadness, the frustration, all of those things are all things that I dealt with. So I thought like, oh, once I get pregnant, everything is just going to smooth sailing after that. And it
No.
wasn't the case. So yeah, so that's kind of like my experience with perinatal mental health.
Wow.
Shatira, as you were on your journey to becoming a parent, you experienced perinatal mental health complications. And then postpartum, they didn't go away. The first plan was not to talk about anything. Then you were like, uh-oh, I need help. You had trouble finding help, the type of help that you needed. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like getting the help that you needed?
Like, how did you find PSI eventually?
Oh, great question. So I will also just add that I went through a few different options to try to find like professional help and wasn't able to do that. That didn't work out anyways as well. By that point, I kind of just started trying to figure things out on my own and work through things on my own. And so that's when, like I said, I spoke to my husband and was like, I need to be able to talk to people about this. That's how I cope.
Okay.
And then even in postpartum, like I realized like I need to get out of the house and I need to socialize and I need to engage. So I did find a breastfeeding support group locally in my area that I found incredibly helpful. And from there, I found this baby wearing support group. And I was like,
Oh.
baby wearing support groups? Like this is a thing? I didn't know. And then I started doing mommy and me swim classes. So I just started finding and learning more about just like connecting with other people and developing a village of support outside of my immediate family. So that's what really helped me get through it.
It's so key to have that peer support piece.
Yes.
Sounds like maybe you didn't have too many like friends or family nearby that had kids your baby's age. And like, that's really, one thing that you really were needing.
Yeah, and because I dealt with infertility, like my twin brother, his kids are older than mine. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, like I always envisioned my kids and his kids are going to be best friends and cousins and all of this stuff. And then I was like, by the time I have kids, his kids will be babysitting mine.
Which isn't too terrible.
Which interestingly now might not be a bad gig, right?
But now my son and his youngest child, he has 3 kids, his youngest child are a year apart and they're very close. And then, my niece and they're all like close, not in a way that I envisioned and imagined, but in a different kind of way that is still awesome and amazing.
Oh,
that's so good.
But I also live in Virginia and my family, all of my family is in different areas. Most of them are in Massachusetts where I grew up. And so I also did not physically have my family here with me throughout this whole journey. My mom did come down, for my delivery and everything, and she stayed with us for a few weeks at a time. Well, actually for like a couple of months at a time.
Oh, shout out, Mom.
Yes, she's the bomb.com.
Okay. You heard it here first,
So that was super helpful. But otherwise, that was also another barrier. Is that I have my husband's family and friends that were supportive, but I didn't have a lot of people who had kids at the same time as me at that time. I had a couple, we're just kind of trying to figure it all out at the same time. So,
yeah.
So for PSI, how I found PSI was when I was pregnant with my son. I was 10 months pregnant. He was born August 13th, and I took my licensing exam July 27th. So I got licensed at 10 months pregnant. Yeah. So I was like, it's now or never because after this baby is born, it's going to be a long time. So once I had my son, then I was licensed and I was on maternity leave and I kind of started trying to figure out like, what's my next step here? Where do I want to go with my career? And I was just job searching and I came across this perinatal therapist role. And I was like, what is a perinatal therapist? Like,
very niche. I'm interested.
Yeah. And so I clicked on it and I'm reading through the description and it said requirements were perinatal mental health certified within 1 year of employment. And I was like, there's a certification for this? I had no idea. So I clicked and then that's how I learned about PSI and the certification and all the supports. And I was like, oh my gosh, like where was this when I didn't know about it?
Yeah, same.
Same.
And in fairness, when I started, that was in 2018. So I think the certification was only a couple years old by then.
Oh gosh, it was in its infancy. I mean,
You were like probably the first cohort of folks.
maybe not cohort. I'm not sure if that's the word I'm looking for, but
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember like then looking to see who was certified and how many people were in my area, and it was low. And now, thankfully, in 2026, it's like a jillion people, which is amazing and great. But then I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a specialty.
yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And now going into my kid's pediatrician office, literally, I see resources and stuff in there for PSI. And I'm in Virginia, so there's stuff for postpartum support Virginia. So it's really cool to see so much more emphasis, even in pediatrician offices now. So
That's so cool.
Do you randomly tell people at the grocery store about PSI, or is it just us? Like, we go, I always find myself in like the funniest places. Like, I need to just wear a QR code and just be like, hey, you heard about, like inside my jacket or something. I'm kidding.
No, I do, ironically enough, and I sometimes very intentionally will not be as forthcoming about like things like my career and what I do, because inevitably it comes up. And then now I'm sitting here talking, like I was talking to my nail tech. I remember going in to get eyeglasses and do my eye exam, and somehow we started talking about postpartum, and I was just like,
how did we get here?
I'm off the clock here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting oddly personal and specific then.
Yeah. But it's also, it's cool. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I need a break. So sometimes I will make stuff up a little bit about what I do.
You're like, I have other interests, I swear. Like, okay, I want to go back in time for a quick second, because I think it's important to appreciate like the infertility journey. So it took some time, but also you probably had to like try various different ways. Like, can you just sort of like give us whatever you want us to know about that part of the process?
Oh yeah.
Like,
so
how long? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I went through infertility for I think like it was about 3.5 years before I was able to have my daughter. And it's so interesting now sharing this part of my story, because it feels like, oh, it was only like 3 years. Like, that's not a long time.
Feels so long though, right?
I mean, but considering like I know people and work with people who now are year 6, 7, 8, 9. But when absolutely month to month, I'm just like, this feels like it's forever. And it was nonetheless devastating and traumatic. When we first started seeking treatment and support, we were originally diagnosed with unexplained infertility. Both myself and my husband did some testing. Okay, funny story. After we started trying to conceive for a little bit, and like it wasn't happening, and we were kind of started both just researching a little bit about, we didn't know anything. Like, why aren't we getting pregnant?
How long was a little bit? Like, were you like in it for like 6 months, or like you're in it for a whole year and you're like, what's happening here? Either way, it's still too long.
Yeah, it was probably closer to a year, only because for probably about the first 6 months, I wasn't like tracking my ovulation and doing all of that. It was just, living our best new married life.
Right.
And then we started tracking because we're like, hold on. Then we started tracking. And then after that, it was just like, okay, something's going on here.
Yeah.
And so my husband came to me one day and was like, hey, so I was reading some things, and I read this thing about undescended testicles and realized like, I think I was born with this. And actually, I think I had a surgery when I was like 2 or 3 years old.
You're like, hey, that would have been great to know.
Yeah, I'm like, what? You didn't know this? Like,
hang on, that's not on your list of first date questions to ask Sarah. Come on, like, you
no.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, no. People ask for medical history, full medical history when you start meeting someone.
Like, do you like sushi? What's your favorite color? Tell me about
your testicles. Like,
I don't know.
You didn't happen to have any surgeries on your reproductive organs at all? No. But of course, he was young enough. He did not remember. He just knew what his parents told him, and he had forgot. But I was just like, interesting that, just us trying to conceive wasn't like a reminder, but it wasn't for whatever reason. So that's when we shifted and went to the clinic and was like, all right, let's get tested.
Right.
So once we did all of our testing, his semen analysis still came back normal. So that's when we were diagnosed with unexplained infertility, and we started off with Clomid treatment.
Yep.
Then we moved to timed intercourse. Timed intercourse is really where they tell you, hey, go home and have sex between 2 and 5 on Friday.
For real.
Yes.
This is your window. Mm-hmm.
Like we're blocking the schedule.
Uh-huh. And so we did timed intercourse. That was unsuccessful. Then we shifted to IUI. And it was through the process of doing IUIs that we learned my husband was, in fact, having some sperm semen analysis issues because each time we do the IUI, he has to provide a sperm sample. And every time that we tried and he brought in the sample, they, do a wash and make sure they pull out the best, strongest sperm.
The best of the best.
But his count was low each time and it was getting lower and then finally it dropped below what they consider the standard. At first, the first month they were like, oh, were you in a hot tub? Were you sick? Like some of these things that can just, throw things off, and not the case.
Because it was consistently kind of like decreasing and low. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that's when we were updated our diagnosis to male factor infertility, and that's when the doctors recommended moving forward with IVF.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe I'm asking a silly question. I don't think there's such a thing as a silly question. Why on earth would testing all of that not be part of an initial intake? Why are doctors making this take so long for people? I'm a little mad. Sorry.
Let me clarify. That might help you to be unmad.
Okay.
They did initially do the semen analysis. So his initial semen analysis when we first went in, and now I'll say also, we went in with that issue, but at that time, 10 years ago, it wasn't as standard or common, I think, for them to automatically kind of do the semen analysis. Now I work with patients and it's standard. Like every time you go in, they're doing a semen analysis. It's like a part of the workup for everyone for the most part now from my experiences and the folks that I work with. But he did do a semen analysis, and the first time it came back totally normal. It wasn't until the IUI, he has to provide the sample.
I'm less mad now. Thank you.
Yeah.
SHATIERA, thanks for clearing that up.
It felt a little bit like they were just like, oh, well, let's blame the woman. Let's blame the person with the uterus. I don't know. Sorry, it was just giving some vibes.
No, it does happen. And I have so many clients who male factor or combo male and female factor infertility is more common, I think, than people realize. And I think that as a result, I've had so many clients who get frustrated that the emphasis is all on them and their age. Even if there is an identified male factor, it's kind of like the treatment is all still targeted at the female. And, what are you doing? And, then the patients that I'm working with, a lot of them are frustrated that even from their partners, they're not thinking about, lifestyle changes, whereas they're, restricting their diet, exercise and taking supplements, doing acupuncture, doing all these things. And their partners are just kind of like, well, I just have to show up and give my sperm and that's it. And I think some of that is because of just misunderstanding, lack of education, and just historical research and things that are starting to shift and change now.
Well, we're setting the record straight today, okay?
Pay attention, people.
Yeah, male factor infertility is absolutely a thing. It's about almost 50% of cases involve male factor.
Wow.
So certainly is important for us. And I believe that's why it's now much more standard that, you don't have to go in and request it. When you come in to request treatment and are getting assessed, they're like, okay, we need the semen analysis.
Yeah.
Got it. Emily, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's so silly to me because I'm it's non-invasive. It's such an easy thing to test. It's easier than a blood draw. Anyway, sorry. That was a bit of a soapbox. Okay. I have a oddly specific question, but I think we're kind of getting into the realm of this. So if there were a handful of things that people get wrong, that people don't know, or that people ask that they shouldn't ask, or that they say that they shouldn't say, both from the personal experience and also with the therapist hat on, what kinds of things do people need to know? What do the folks going through it need to know? And then what do the people who are friends and family supporters? Can you give us a couple of sound off? Tell me what we need to know.
Yeah, so definitely male factor infertility. That's very high up there for folks who are experiencing infertility. For folks who are not sure, who think they might be experiencing, or they're just not getting pregnant in the way that they wanted to, seek treatment. Go get tested. You don't have to wait 6 months or a year or any of those things. Asterisk, your insurance may require certain factors, but generally for testing, at least your insurance generally will cover testing, not maybe treatment, but testing.
Right.
But I think it's also very important for folks to know also that like if you have reproductive health issues, you have a menstrual cycle that is abnormal. It's, you have heavy periods, you have late periods. Like if anything is off about your menstrual cycle, you don't need to wait. Right? You will likely be dealing with something, some type of barrier or challenge. It doesn't mean, again, that you can't even conceive without additional supports. Folks, I think, get that part wrong. It's like because traditionally the definition for infertility has been, after 6 months of trying if you're older than 35 or a year of trying if you're under 35.
Mhm.
So I really want everybody to know and understand that like it's not going to hurt you to go and just do a basic testing to kind of see where you are. Even if you're having zero issues, you haven't even started trying to conceive, but you're kind of like, I'm kind of thinking about it. You can still go to a clinic and even your OBGYN can do some basic baseline testing for you to give you an idea. But especially if you have fibroids, if you have endo, if you have PCOS, any of those things, you don't need to wait.
Mhm.
Even if you have one loss, I know recurrent loss is considered after 2 pregnancies through ASRM and 3 pregnancies through ACOG, but you don't need to wait for those things to happen to seek treatment, to seek an opinion, to start testing. So that is one thing that I think is really important for folks to know who are going through it. Professional help is also available. There are therapists like myself who are specifically trained and experienced in supporting folks who are navigating infertility. Personally, I have lived experience, as many of us in this specialty do. However, I also have academic training because my experience is only a small portion of the infertility journey.
Exactly.
And so there are people like myself who are trained and experienced and have the academic and education and training to be able to support you if that's something that you're looking for. Again, I absolutely love and fully support PSI. One thing that I do feel needs to be highlighted though is that there are some other organizations that have a unique focus on solely infertility. PSI's thing is perinatal mental health and stuff.
Mhm.
But like Resolve is the National Organization for Infertility, and then ASRM is the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. Those are some good resources for individuals, or if you're a therapist who works with patients who are navigating infertility, those are some good resources to give. Again, PSI has this support group and has a specialized coordinator for infertility. But if you're looking for a lot more information and resources and stuff, then there are some other organizations that really specialize in that.
Yeah.
And then there's some other organizations like the Cade Foundation. They do grants that started for Black women, Black people to get
Mhm.
grants, awareness, education, advocacy, that kind of thing.
For providers?
No, for people who are looking to grow their family.
Help seekers. Okay, got it.
Well, first of all, to clarify, providers can also be help seekers.
Yes, that is
so,
true. That is true.
So I started this specialty after my journey, but many people are in this specialty and then
Yeah.
experience it as well. And then what was the other one?
You are a fountain of knowledge.
Oh, Broken Brown Egg is the last one that I'll share.
That is a great name. Wow.
Love them. So another resource, especially for folks of color. And Resolve and ASRM and PSI all have directories where you can filter by folks who do have the training. And if you are looking for a therapist, one of the questions that you can ask is, do you have experience or training in infertility? If you're looking for someone to be able to specifically support you and you don't have to necessarily tell them all the details about infertility.
Yes.
They have some knowledge themselves.
That's right up there with like, you should not have to teach someone about your lived experience as a person of color. You should not have to teach your therapist about your lived experience with infertility. Find someone who knows what's up. Yeah.
Yes. And again, it doesn't have to be somebody who's been through it, although many people seek me out specifically because they know my journey and my experiences. But if you have the training and the education, that's also very, very important. So
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Also, you're not alone. Like there's so many people, like I can't tell you how many stories I have heard since when I was going through it. Like I said in the beginning, nobody knew.
Yeah.
Even when I started telling people, it was still like my immediate, very small circle of people who knew. And it wasn't until I was on the other side of my journey and starting this career that I really started talking more publicly about it. And I can't even tell you how many people. I mean, I found out my own cousin went through IVF when I started talking about it publicly. And I told my grandma, and grandma knows everything. So she was like, oh, your cousin did IVF. And I'm like, what?
Why didn't you tell me this earlier?
Yes.
So I do think that it is more common than folks, realize because many people are not talking about it. Although more and more people are, there's still, some silence, some shame, some suffering that folks are experiencing, quietly internally.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I would definitely encourage folks to think about for folks who are going through infertility. For folks who are loved ones, family, friends, I just really wish, and I'm going to say this and also acknowledge that I myself am guilty of this because I think it's just like in this country, the culture in our society is just like small talk. Hey, you married or do you have kids? Like, how many kids do you have?
What are you doing next?
Are you trying for another kid? You already have one? Or did you want two? How big? And I really wish that we could be a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more mindful, and trying our very best. Again, I've gone through it and I've been on the receiving end of difficult questions. And sometimes I still just instinctively, I'm like, ooh, whoops, I shouldn't have said that or I should have asked that.
That just flew out of my mouth. I said the thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I wish that we could just be a little bit less in people's, reproductive health issues. And at the same time, I wish that we could talk about it more if it was more normalized and less shame around it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish that those kind of things could happen simultaneously, but, we are where we are.
I totally agree.
And just be mindful, like when you're giving advice, like I can't even tell you the stories of things that people had said to me, like, oh, like after I finished grad school, it was kind of like, people are like, okay, so what's happening? And I started having to kind of now shift.
Like eyes off my ovaries.
you know,
Leave me alone.
seriously, I made a t-shirt that says mind your own uterus.
Hey!
Like, yeah, like
I like that.
I'm going to worry about mine, you worry about yours.
Right.
I had to start telling people a little bit more like, we are trying, if, pray for us, when it happens, it's God's time. I would start saying things like that to just give people an insight that like, I'm trying here, right?
This is what I feel comfortable sharing, and I'll let you know. I'll call you. Don't call me with a lot of questions.
That part.
That's true right before a baby's born. Like, it's always true. When are you getting married? Always true. I'll call you. Like, chill.
Yeah, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get all this unsolicited advice and opinions, even when you do start to share and open up. So it's really like if someone does open up and talk to you about their journey, just be a listening ear. And if you're confused and you don't know what the person is looking for, because sometimes people are looking for advice or feedback or something, then just say, hey, are you looking for advice or are you just looking for a listening ear?
Yes.
And don't dive in with, well, my cousin said this and I have a good friend who did that. And
here's what you need to do.
If you put your legs up this way, that's how we got pregnant with a boy. I'm like,
oh, okay.
Okay.
That's not how it works.
If it was just that easy. That was what a friend said to me once, and I never forgot it. I just remember going home to my husband, like, can you believe that so-and-so said? I was like, okay.
Also, wasn't asking, but thanks.
Yeah. And then also, like, if someone does open up and share with you, I think one of you guys said this too, is like, don't then reach out and constantly say, how are things going? Where are you at? How did that procedure go? How did this procedure go? Just, hey, just want you to know I'm thinking about you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like, no need to reach out. Just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking of you and I'm here.
Exactly. Yeah. And follow the person's lead. Sometimes we're going to want to talk about it. And sometimes I don't want to talk about it. And I don't want you asking me about it because now I have to figure out how to politely say, I don't want to talk about it. Or I have to share when I don't really want to because now I'm also worried about hurting your feelings. So
it's like a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great advice. I love all that. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a handful of people in my household who are like newly experiencing menstrual cycles, right? Relatively speaking, pretty new to it. We got some teenagers. And so it's like, we don't even talk enough, I think, about what's normal, whatever normal means, right? But like, what is within the range of healthy and what is like unexpected, worth investigating. Because if you have ever had a period, there's some level of cramping and pain that goes along with that. But like there's a range of what's normal. And then there are things that are indicative of like other issues like PCOS or endo, like you were talking about earlier. Like these are sort of like red flags, but there aren't conversations happening at all with the teenagers in my house. And I don't know how to provide guidance for that. Like what's normal? if you're in bed and can't do school, is that you trying to skip school? Or like, do I need to call the doctor? Like, there's so little guidance, which I think back to the whole, like, are we asking the men about their factors in this fertility?
Yeah.
It's like there just isn't enough information for folks in possession of a uterus to guide us at all.
Yeah. And I think part of that is because we don't know ourselves, right? Like, I can't tell you now that I've been in this field, my initial focus has been infertility and perinatal mental health. But by nature, I go to conferences and hear so much and have learned so much more about endometriosis and PCOS and fibroids, and just understanding what you're describing, that being hunched over in pain and having to miss school or work because of your period every single month is not okay. Right. But a lot of times we've just been trained that this is part of being, a woman, and this is what comes with it. And you're going to get your period and it's going to be painful and you just got to deal with it. And so we don't realize until we start trying to conceive and grow our families that, like, I can't tell you how many patients I work with who are newly diagnosed with PCOS or endometriosis or fibroids when they are going through this process because they haven't been able to conceive. And then they reach out to start testing. And even fibroids, like, I have a close friend who is a really big advocate for fibroids and talks a lot about fibroids. And so I've learned so much just from her and her journey. But just like knowing that, like, heavy bleeding, right? Like, you think like, oh, this is normal, like, because we don't know what's in the realm of what's considered normal versus abnormal. It's not talked about as much. And so people think that this is just normal, not realizing like, oh, you might have fibroids, right? And so getting that help and really talking to providers and really advocating. There is someone that I follow on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is the Period Doctor.
Oh.
Her goal is to educate, young folks, especially about period and what it means and menstrual cycles and all of that. And so I think like one of the great things about the news and the internet and the media is it's way different and much more accessible to folks in 2026 than it has been when we were, in middle school and growing up, right? So there are more resources. I just was looking at this class that was locally here. It was like a pamper period party. Certain age range for girls. You go and you learn about periods and you get all these cool, like little pouches to put your sanitary napkins in and tampons and pads and whatever. And you're talking about it. So I've seen more stuff like that. And so I'm hopeful that like my daughter's generation will at least hopefully be more inquisitive, more, with more advocacy. They'll ask more questions. They'll demand better care. But I think part of it for us is just we don't even know. We didn't even know.
And also for us as the parents, like, I'm going to go check out the period doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes, like, I don't even know how to bring something up in conversation or what to say or what specifically to be talking about, because this isn't my area of expertise and our parents didn't have that. But now we have access to this information. It's much more readily available.
It's like we don't want to do what happened to us, which is like maybe normalize things that were sort of worthy of further investigation, right? Like, oh, that happens to everybody. Like, I don't want to accidentally normalize something that could be a sign that we should like ask more questions.
We don't want to normalize not talking about things, and we don't want to normalize being in pain all the time. And we want to normalize hearing people say what they're feeling and what's going on for them, and also speaking up when something doesn't feel right and listening to that.
Yeah, it's interesting, Zany, because you just brought up like, how do I even talk to her?
Yeah.
On the period doctor, just recently, like maybe within the last week or so, she had this stitch, I think they call them.
Oh, look at you. You're so hip. Okay.
I know. I'm like, what's that? Just kidding.
There was another video of this parents who were celebrating their daughter getting her period and like the aunties and stuff. And like a lot of people tagged her and she shared it and reposted it and talked about from her perspective, what was probably less helpful, well-intentioned, but less helpful, and gave specific feedback on how this could have been helpful and maybe some tweaks to kind of direct people. I was like, oh, this is helpful for me when my daughter gets to that point and I start having these conversations.
Yeah.
I have some better guidance of what to do or how to approach this. And some of it is personal and individual and approach, of course.
Right.
But I thought that that was pretty cool. And she brought up things that probably traditionally we don't even think about or consider when we're like, oh my gosh, yay, we're trying to normalize this and make this like not feel like a bad thing. And then inadvertently, we're posting things on social media now for everybody to see what our kid is going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So balance and like, again, more guidance, I think is helpful. And just talking to young girls, to young people in general and helping them to understand that like, speak up and say something and you don't have to wait till you're trying to conceive to learn what's going on with your body.
And you know what? I like to sometimes have these conversations in front of my sons too.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
It's okay to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thanks for all of that. That was great. Those were some great suggestions. I'm going to go follow somebody new on Instagram.
Yes.
I have a question for you. I was wondering how else, like in what other ways you are connected with PSI. This is a leading question. I already think I know an answer. Are you connected with the Alliance at all?
Yes.
Tell us about that. Silver platter. Here you go.
So I am connected with the Alliance for People of Color through PSI. I'm a member of PSI. I also facilitate the infertility support group once a month, the free infertility support group.
Great. Online.
Yes, online. The first Thursday of the month is mine. They do it more often, but that's the one that I particularly facilitate. But yeah, getting connected, especially with the Alliance, especially going through the reproductive mental health stuff. Black women have higher maternal mortality, higher mental health rates, all of these things, and just higher reproductive health issues in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so connecting and feeling like, you're connected to people who look like you and can relate to things that you can relate to. And, all of that has been incredibly helpful. I continuously commend, honestly, PSI. I feel like I have been to a lot of conferences, and outside of a conference that is specifically geared toward, Black people and, ran by Black organizations, of course, those are, primarily of Black people and lots of folks there.
Mm-hmm.
However, outside of those organizations, PSI, I feel like does a really good job about really trying to outreach to get more Black providers trained up, to show up to conferences, to be engaged. And it's so amazing to go to conferences and not feel like, okay, like I'm one of maybe 3 or 4 people in here of color.
Mm.
And then if you break it down to like one of 2 Black people here.
Right.
It's really refreshing. Last year when I went to the conference and I was like, oh my goodness, wow, there's a lot of diversity in this room.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And I love being connected with the Alliance, and the team there is great.
Awesome.
They are.
I have worked with them as well in the fellowship program that they did, the inaugural program that they did last year. I did some trainings on infertility for those folks as well. And then newly, I am on the board for the PSI DC chapter.
Great.
So that is something new that I'm doing as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm a really big fan of PSI.
So are we.
I mean, you're just doing a couple things around PSI. We'll make sure that we put, for our listeners, a link in the show notes to the Alliance, the online support group, PSI DC chapter, and anything else we hit on today.
I want to get into the lightning round because I need to know all the other knowledge that SHATIERA is going to drop on us. So,
are you ready for a lightning round? It may not be quick, but
it's unlikely to be quick.
We can dream,
I'm ready.
Okay. SHATIERA, besides this podcast, what is your second favorite podcast? Does not have to be about... I'm kidding.
See what we did there?
Why are you laughing? This is very serious.
We're number 1.
It does not have to be about perinatal mental health. It could be like,
And the reason I'm laughing is because it is exposing me a little.
Oh.
Who I am outside of, my professional role.
I'm listening.
I am who I am. No, I'm just teasing.
Okay.
My number 1 podcast that I listen to is Reality with the King.
Her number 2, she means reality.
Oh yes. My number 2.
Reality.
Sorry, my number 2.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to set the record straight.
It's Reality with the King podcast with Carlos King, and he is the king of reality TV and Housewives and Bravo and all things reality. And so I love listening to his interviews and recaps. So that is definitely my.
Okay. That is like juicy. I like it.
I'm a big reality TV fan.
Okay, cool.
Okay. What are you binge watching or like reading or listening to? Like, what do I need to add to my queue next? When my show runs out and I go, oh God, what do I do with my life? You know?
Yeah, so I just started binging The Pit.
Oh.
Season 2 just started last week, but literally last week I binge watched the whole first season.
Oh,
So it's a medical drama series based in the ER.
cool.
I'm really enjoying that.
Who's in it? Is it like a lot of new folks, like new actors, or is there like a couple of people who've been around for a minute?
The main character is someone who was in ER back a long time ago. I at least don't necessarily recognize any of the other actors from other shows and stuff. Not to say that they don't have other things, but maybe I'm just not watching them.
It's okay.
You can't watch everything. There's only so many hours in a day, okay?
Yeah, The Pit is new. So it's a new show. I mean, it just came out last year.
Okay, cool. What is your best parenting hack in this moment? And we realize that as soon as we hack something, it doesn't work anymore.
So feel free to give us like last week's hack if you're still using it, you know?
Also, if nothing's working right now, it's totally fine. Solidarity.
So one parenting hack that I felt like I was like proud of myself for figuring out when my daughter was younger was getting the adjustable shower handle and putting a grip thing at her level so she could take a shower more independently at a younger age.
Like shower at kid height.
Yes.
That's brilliant. I had never thought of that. I was holding on to like slippery people, and that was just really dangerous.
That is smart.
So I thought that was a good hack.
Okay.
Yeah.
My brain's like, wait a second, though. Did she take it off and like spray everywhere?
No.
No, only your kids would do that. Just
Okay.
I think only because she didn't realize that she could.
Oh, you didn't show. Check this. No, don't let him see it come off.
That's the other hack, is don't show them how you do stuff.
No.
This is a double whammy hack today.
Now, they will probably try that. But now it's back up at they can't reach it for that reason.
You're like, forget it. Permission revoked. It's going back up there.
Like if they want a snack, don't show them where it is unless you want them to get it themselves next time, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's another hack. I don't know if it's a hack, but when we bought the refrigerator that we have currently, there's like a middle, I think it's technically meant for like fruits and vegetables or something, but it's at their height level. So it is their snack refrigerator area. So
so if you would like a refrigerated snack,
they can go in, grab it. Their little bottled waters are in there.
Yeah.
Their cheese, their yogurts, all of their refrigerated snacks are there so they can independently. You see, there's a theme here. Like my kids need to be independent. I'm pushing independence on them.
I can't be doing all of this for you.
Yeah. I don't want you yelling for me upstairs because you want water and I have to go in and.
Mm-hmm.
What, I got to get it for you?
Yeah, you can do this. Smart.
You're so independent, little one.
Knock yourself out with all that water.
Yep. All right. What is one way that you are going to show yourself some radical love today?
Anything is radical.
Today, this shouldn't take me this long.
Sometimes it does, though. That just means you really need to think about it, like, because you deserve it.
I'm going to go to bed on time tonight.
Oh, that is radical.
Yeah, because that never happens. And I have an early morning tomorrow because sadly my mom is here. She has been here for the past 5 weeks and
Sadly?
she's now leaving. Yeah. No. Sadly, she's leaving.
I was like, awkward. Gotta cut it.
I mean, beginning of the episode, mom was the bomb.com, but now she has fallen.
But sadly, Mom is now it's sad that she's leaving. Oh, you should hide her car keys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Or like, don't put her on the plane. Just be like, sorry.
I wish, but she's got to get back home to her life.
Fine.
But I'm going to go to bed tonight on time because I really need to make sure I do that because I normally don't. And I'm struggling in the morning. But tonight, I'm going to make sure that I take care of myself in that way.
Tomorrow you will thank tonight you.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that this conversation and saying it on this podcast is going to help me to actually make it happen.
That's the other thing is like follow through.
I'm going to text you tomorrow and be like, tell me about your sleep last night.
Yes. Yes. I need accountability.
I'm going to jump to the next question because what you just said is relevant, which brings me to my next question. When we say things out loud, sometimes we're more accountable. How do you take your water? Because we should all drink more water. Bubbles, no bubbles, flavor, no flavor. Like, how are you doing this?
Flavor.
Oh, okay.
I always have to have a mixer.
Oh,
I love that brand.
I don't drink regular water.
So what flavor is that? Was that like peach?
Peach lemonade.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And it's the only one I drink. And I have like about 6 of these on my desk.
Shatira's like, I'm actually drowning in boxes of this flavoring.
That's me with the cherry limeade. Same, cherry limeade is my flavor of choice. Like, I'll fight people for it, you know?
My son is always like, Mommy, you always drink juice. All you drink is juice. And I'm like, it's water.
Leave me alone. Trying to stay hydrated, okay?
I will make sure that they drink water.
Yeah.
They just drink it regular. I drink it with a little twist.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're allowed to do that.
Okay, Shatira, if you were to jump in a time machine of your choice, whatever kind of time machine, a DeLorean, a hot tub, a TARDIS, whatever. I'm kidding. What is one thing that today you wishes you could say to pre-recovery you? It's kind of deep after the water question.
Sorry.
Maybe that things will get better and it's okay to, I don't want to sound like a therapist, but I'm a therapist. I am who I am.
You are who you are.
It's okay to feel your feelings. You do not have to feel guilty or frustrated or disappointed that you feel sad or upset or triggered. Like, it is okay. You know, it is totally okay. It is totally okay. It is totally okay to cry, to be sad. All of those things, it's okay to do.
And there's help. And you're not alone.
Yes, for sure.
That's a great thing to say to yourself.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And I say it almost daily in my sessions to my clients.
I think a lot of us need to hear it over and over and over again because it is hard when you're like, I don't want to bring other people down, or like, I don't know if people are going to be receptive. If how I'm feeling necessitates action from someone else, are people going to be able to receive that? Or am I going to be just like feeling even more alone or more abandoned or more whatever?
Yeah. I think on the journey to conceive, it's often like looking back, like at that time, it felt like I can't be sad. I have to just be grateful for the things that I have, and I have to be appreciative for the things that I have. And even when I was pregnant, it's just like, no, just be grateful that you're throwing up in the toilet and not well. Like, you just have to be happy. And it's like, actually, no, like it's okay if I'm not enjoying this. Like, even if I wanted it, it's okay that I feel miserable right now. It's okay that I feel sad that, you know, pregnancy is not working out the way that I thought it was going to. All of those feelings are valid and emotions are valid. And, you know, behaviors, what I tell my clients all the time now is emotions are different from behaviors. You're allowed to have your emotions. Your behaviors is probably maybe what we need to kind of be mindful of. But just experiencing your emotions and sitting with them and feeling them is totally appropriate.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, we're not uncomplicated creatures.
Okay. Very important question. I mean, it's important, but it's not complicated. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, is there a way that they can get a hold of you? Or would you like people to leave you alone?
Like, don't call her, she'll call you.
Yeah.
Per our previous.
Yeah.
No, I would love for people to get in contact with me. I can be found on email at SHATIERA@seedsofhopecc.com. And my website is the same, seedsofhopecc.com. I am on Instagram and TikTok. I'm an elder millennial.
Hey, elder millennial. Okay.
We unite.
You know, so TikTok is, you know, looking skimp, but it's there, but I'm not as active. I'm more of an Instagram girly.
Okay.
If folks want to follow me or interact with me, you can do so there as well, or send me an email or shoot on over to my website.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Emily, would you like to take us out?
Yes. I loved today's conversation, and I think I just want to keep having these like full-throated discussions about fertility and wellness, and when you're not sure if it's worthy of help from a doctor or help from a therapist or help from a family member, it is always worth help. So thank you so much for being like so honest and real about your experience, because the more that we talk about folks who experience fertility challenges, the more people are going to go, same, cuz, you know, like we need that. We need to know that like it's not just us. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in to the I Am One podcast. Check out today's show notes where we'll drop links to all the important things that we mentioned in this episode. Please consider sharing about I Am One on social media and following and rating our show wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. It only takes a minute of your time and, well, that'll help our collective mission of bringing resources and local support to folks worldwide. From everyone here at PSI, thanks again for listening.